welcome to another finely spun, like cotton candy,
Delicious.
delicious and not at all nutritious episode of Midlife Krisis. We're going to be doing one of our lauded Let's Plays that we haven't done, you and I, in a while. Side Crisis is now a thing, where I'm playing a lot of the old shit that you don't really give a hoot about. But guess what, friend? We're going to be playing old shit that you don't give a hoot about right now, because I want to show off this unit right here. So, Uncle Bob, I have many of these devices for many systems, but this is my newest acquisition. This is the Everdrive N8 Pro that comes to us from the fine country of Ukraine.
Well, I'm glad you're helping their economy right now.
So this guy Krix, he's been making Everdrives for like literally a decade now, which is pretty crazy. My first Everdrive that I ever bought was for the Super Nintendo, and then I got a Genesis one shortly thereafter. Go for it. So most people who play retro video games know exactly what that is.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's all the way, it's like legit as it gets in terms of like the build quality and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
On this side, so you have like a micro SD card. That's where you load in all your ROMs. Then you have a USB port if you're going to develop your own NES game. You can load it that way. Then you have this little button here that acts as a Famicom Disk System switcher. Which, do you know anything at all about the Famicom Disk System?
Nope.
So, you know that game that you love so much, The Legend of Zelda?
I think I've heard of it.
That was a disc game. A little game called Metroid.
Yep.
Disc. Punch Out. Disc. Yeah. So all those games came out in America on cartridge. The disc system never came out in America, which, like, I do wonder if the NES version, and there were talks, like if you look at an NES, turn that sumbitch upside down, there's an extension port. So there was plans for some sort of an extension thing, which that's what the Famicom disk system plugs into. There were plans to release it in America, they just never did. And I do wonder if that was a thing, how successful it would have been or not have been. One of the main hooks about it is that obviously they were read-write, so you could save your games.
Yeah.
They solved that problem by putting batteries in cartridges, which kind of worked, kind of didn't. Famously on NES, you could easily fry your saves if you just powered off your NES. You had to hold the reset button down.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, and that caused a lot of heartache for a lot of kids for not following those specific rules. But anyway, that's the main reason why I got this thing is I have not, of all the retro games explorations that I've been on, all these voyages, I have done very little Famicom disk system stuff. And I looked into buying, and I still want to get one. I want the Sharp Twin, which is funny, not even made by Nintendo. It's made by Sharp. But it's like a Famicom and a disk system rolled into one. Friend of the show, Graham, has one. Shout out, Graham. But the discs are really cool. Like, they're these yellow, like, hardy. They're not exactly 3.5-inch discs. Like, they're a Nintendo proprietary magnetic disc, because, of course, they're proprietary. But they're cool, and like you get a really satisfying like ka-chunk when you put it in, and like it starts reading the data and shit. But what was really cool about those is that you would take them to a kiosk in a store in Japan, and you get like a special like blank disc, and you could like download games to these things.
Right.
So it's like things that we totally take for granted today in terms of like e-shops and what have you. Like this obviously wasn't online, but it was the same thing. You pay a smaller amount of money, and you would put a game on this disc, play it, and if you were done with it, you would delete it. Now, there's a ton of games that were exclusive to this format, this like, one and done, like pump out type thing. And the only way that they have been preserved was because people didn't delete those. And so there are games that were released in this method that are completely lost to time. But there's a really cool number of ones that were preserved. And they're all on here. So, like, I'll show you a really interesting version of Mario Brothers that you've never seen before, and all kinds of other little features that this thing does.
So what's the total number of games?
On this cartridge, there is got to be more than 5,000. It's somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong, the total number of official games released on the NES, I thought that was less than 1,000.
The American one, yeah. But if you bundle in all of the European exclusives, all the Japanese exclusives, and then all of the unofficial releases throughout all territories, you're looking at somewhere more close to 2,000 games of like a real library. And then you incorporate the hacks and the homebrews and all that shit, and that's how that number gets crazy, crazy high.
Wow.
So we'll explore some of these, some of the weird little things. I got to tell you, I have been just jamming on this thing. Like the most, we did some what have you been playing stuff.
Yeah.
And I was, this is like a whole separate episode just to talk about this. But the majority of the games that I'm currently playing are NES games, which is for me, because the NES is not my favorite console. It's not even in my top 5. But having this device and being able to explore all these games that I never got to really explore before, it's kind of opening my eyes up a little bit. And it's also reminding me of some games like that I used to fucking love and
I've forgotten about.
Yeah, like for example, I was playing through Capcom's Darkwing Duck. What a game! What a fucking game! And really, all of Capcom's NES stuff is really good.
Yeah, because they also did the famous DuckTales one, which everybody loved. Yeah.
So we're playing this on a top loader. This is the NES that here. I'll bring it to this camera. This here is a top loader. Top loader is a little bit more expensive. This bad boy came out in 1993 in America. It was like the swan song for the NES.
It was weird because when it came out, we're now 2 years into the Super NES cycle.
Oh, but Nintendo's been playing this game a long time.
Yeah.
And this might have been the first time that they did that, but that would not be the last. There was a Super Nintendo variant called it's officially called the Super Nintendo, but people call it the Junior, which is a very small version of a Super Nintendo that came out in the late 90s. You have, all of their handheld stuff. You have so many different variations of the hardware. But this guy came out when, Mega Man games were still coming out. There was like Mega Man 5 and 6. This thing was like, I think, $49.99 when it came out.
I think that's right.
And it was pretty cool. It only did, what do you call it? RF. So mine's modded. I modded in a multi-out so that it can do composite video.
You modded that in.
Yeah, I did. And it was fun, and I'll do it again.
Was soldering involved?
Yeah. It's really, for as far as the mods that I've done, this is one of the easier ones. The hardest thing that I've done so far is I rebuilt a Game Boy Color and put in a new color screen, and then I added like a rechargeable battery, and then there's like a dimmer switch that I put on there. That was pretty wild.
Well, not quite the same as modding, but didn't you also risk death by fixing a television somehow?
Oh, no, that was... That right behind you over there, that Astro City.
Yeah.
So, what happened with that was I had to get it repaired, and then I got all the pieces back because there were some repairs that I couldn't do that only a real deal electrical engineer could do, and that's one of my pride and joys. So I'm gonna go ahead and pony up the money to get that fixed. But once I got everything back in and reinstalled, I turned the cabinet back on, and it didn't work, and I was like, fuck. And then I realized what I had done. There's this little cup that's on the back of the glass backing of the monitor, and I forget what that thing is called, but it has a very if you don't have that thing plugged in, you won't get an image. I think it has to do with the circuit of the way the tube works. And so I had a choice. I was either gonna do all this work to take the monitor out and basically discharge it and all this other stuff, or I was just gonna plug it in. And hopefully not die. And that's what I chose to do. And friends, did not die.
You're still here.
Still here, and that cabinet just sings.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go through this deal here. So we're going to go like this, bam, and we're going to appear right here on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And then for those of us in attendance, we're going to do this for the full frame. I am playing with a Nintendo Switch Online wireless controller, an official Nintendo pad here. And there's not a lot of delay, so it's been good for me. People complain about it, but I don't. I'm not a pro Tetris player, so I don't give a fuck.
Man.
I just want to play these games from my couch. So
aftermarket games, beta, prototypes, revisions.
So we're gonna take a look at this game list. So at the top here, so all Everdrives have a menu that's very similar to this, and basically the sky's the limit how you want to break this stuff down. Some people like to do the mixtape approach and have their own finely curated libraries. They don't want to have access to everything. That's kind of what I did for the Sega Saturn. On my Sega Saturn, I don't have an Everdrive, but I have a device called a Saru, which is very similar. And on there, I'm not gonna fucking play all the baseball games on Saturn. It's just not gonna happen.
No.
No. So they're not on there. But for this, because these games are so small, for me, it's just fun to have the entire global library and then some. All of these games that's on here, again, we're talking somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 games. All of them take up, I think it's like 2 gigabytes or something, which is really fun. So anyway, at the top you have all the official US release games, and they're alphabetized. And then you have the European exclusives, the Japanese ones, and they're even broken down. So you have like, they're broken down alphabetically too. Other regions, you got weird shit. Australia, Germany, France. So these are typically going to be those languages. In the case of Australia, you're going to have some weird, like,
Aussie rules footy.
Aussie rules footy, things like that, yeah. I think this is the Australian version of Captain America, which I think is very funny. But yeah, some of these are exclusive to Australia in one way or another. But yeah, and so on and so forth with these other countries. But yeah, typically they're just languages. And then you have your unlicensed stuff. This is where you're going to find your porno games.
Oh.
I'm talking Bubble Bath Babes.
It's a family show, Brian.
We're not going to get booted off YouTube for that. Just know that they exist.
Well, can you show the names? Are we going to get booted for the names?
No, of course not. So yeah, there's Bubble Bath Babes.
Bible Adventures. Yeah.
So that's Wisdom. Those Wisdom Tree games, the company Wisdom Tree made them. I grew up playing a game called, and let's start there. Let's just play some Exodus. So this game is legitimately good, and it's just, I have nothing else to say other than it's good, because I don't want to ruffle any feathers. But this is a religious game. And a lot of these games are very schlocky, like they're just poorly put together. This is actually a really, really fun game. So it reminds me a lot of Lode Runner. I am playing as Moses. I am shooting W's, which is, as you know, the Word of God.
The Word of God. Yes, I know.
Non-believers. Let's blow
He's
them.
just killing the non-believers.
He's not killed. He's reformed.
But he disappeared.
Well, yeah.
Did he go to heaven?
He disappeared, and now, yes, we'll just say he went to heaven. It's a Nintendo game. Come on. So yeah, the object is you want to blow out this dirt stuff and collect all these M's, which I forget what they are.
It's money. Please say it's money.
That's a low-hanging fruit.
M for money.
Give Moses the money. No, it's Moses milk. Oh God, don't Google that. See, we got some book. There's like certain items that you find in every level. But what I'm going to show you... Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, Moses.
You killed Moses.
I didn't kill him. He just covered his eyes.
Okay.
All right, back to the heathens. Uh-oh.
Oh, it said player 2.
Oh, okay.
Do you have another controller?
Well, no. No, we don't.
Okay.
Let's do this. Reset. Oh, one thing. Here, I'll show you this. Did I accidentally pick 2 players? Is that what we did? I don't know. Yeah, well, anyway, that's Exodus. What I was going to show you is that they do Bible quizzes, which is funny. And they have like really, really good drawn, and by good I mean terribly drawn, like full screen art. So let's do some of the weird stuff. So are you familiar with the Versus system, the VS system?
No.
So that was in arcades. I'm sure you've seen the PlayChoice 10.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the same thing, same hardware architecture. They were basically like slightly souped up NES games. These are of the straight up official VS ROMs. And if you load any of these onto a normal NES, they do weird shit. And I'll show you so here's an example. So if I do Mario Brothers, and we won't be able to play this because the game doesn't recognize a coin, but I'll show you the hacks that do that stuff. So if you put in Mario 1, see how weird the graphics are?
Yeah.
So this is meant to be played on an arcade monitor with RGB. This NES doesn't have RGB, so the game is just basically like picking the closest colors that it can get, and this is what it looks like. So you can mod a top loader with RGB, but that's a whole different can of worms. And one day I'll do it, but my skills aren't up to snuff to do that right now. And it's expensive too. You have to buy like an aftermarket chipset to drop in. So, but what I can do is we can go to the patched hacks and play the exact same thing. So here's VS Mario Brothers. And this is like you see this a lot in Commodore 64 games that you did not buy. But these are called trainers. And you can do the same thing here. So you can like select the amount of lives you want, blah, blah, blah. And then this is hacked to recognize the select button to be your coin. So let's do that, and then let's push A and start. So what's really neat about VS Mario Brothers is it is not just straight. So the beginning of the game, it looks exactly just like Mario Brothers 1.
This looks a little familiar.
Yes. So we won't see this here because it's going to take too long, and I want to show off more shit. But around level, I want to say 3 or 4, there's exclusive levels to the game. And then they also use, so that pit wasn't there in the original one. But there's levels in this game that are in no other version of Mario Brothers, and it's an official like Nintendo thing. So, and he uses levels from what we know as Lost Levels, but was in reality the actual Super Mario Brothers 2. And then there's levels that are just totally exclusive to this. And it was just like a neat, interesting thing. See that pit right there?
Yeah,
that was not there. It's just a neat, interesting curio that Nintendo made and was only available in arcades. And I got to tell you, all the Pizza Huts that I went to when I was a kid had a Play Choice 10. And they had this game in it. They had Excite Bike, which is a different version of Excite Bike.
I definitely remember Excite Bike.
Yeah. Let's go down here. Let's check, just because I haven't actually done this yet. Let's see if Negative World is accessible in VS Mario Brothers. I have a feeling that when we get to the end of this stage, the brick that you need to do the hack is going to be missing.
Yeah,
that's my hypothesis.
See, this is good. This is a good test because that was an accident, so there's no way they would have left that in, right?
You'd think. You would think. But then, you know, like if they really cared, like all the other versions that they released, like when all they really do is just dump the NES ROM, like they could have done the work to patch that up and they never have. But we'll see. I think the way that they fix it though, and I've seen this, because like the Game & Watch Mario Brothers does this, they just get rid of that brick, and they did.
Oh boy!
So that's how they fixed it. They just took out the brick right there. Yeah, it's great. Good work, Nintendo. Easy fix. So there's that. Now let me show you some neat features with this Everdrive. So let's say you and I want to go ahead and, I don't know, play some Contra, because we're done with this Mario game.
Okay.
You can map this in any way you want in the menus of the Everdrive, but if I push right and select, I bring up this menu. In-game, now imagine, we're sitting on this table right next to this thing, so it's not that big of a deal. But I like to play this Nintendo really far away from a huge-ass TV.
Yeah.
The fact that I can fucking go back to this menu and sit there from the comfort of my couch and load other stuff is a total game changer.
It's like, you're like a dad in the 70s who no longer has to yell at his kid to go change the channel on the TV.
That is 100% accurate.
Because of the invention of the remote control.
Because time marches forward. So the N8 Pro, which is the Everdrive that I have, that's one of the key features of this cartridge. You can get, I don't think they produce the other one anymore on NES, but they do for other systems. You can't do this menu thing on those. The price difference is like $100. So I spent $100 extra for this convenience that I would never not have, because it's that fucking important to me. So let's do here. So the game pack that I have is like a build that I found on the internet, and I'm not going to tell you exactly where I found it, just because who knows, Nintendo's kind of dicks. But I will say it's incredibly easy to find. So if you just look Everdrive N8 Pro and then games, you will find this. But I thought this was so cool. So here, game series collections. All this is just like a curated, like again, going back to that mixtape reference. Like here, they took the same games that you have in those other lists and just copied them because they're so small and curated these lists. So here's, let's say I want to just play light gun games. Well, here's all of the light gun games. Let's say I want to go real weird and I have a Famicom and I have the Player 2 had a microphone on Famicom. We did not get that in America. Yeah. Here's all the games that take advantage of the microphone. So on and so forth. PowerPad.
Yeah, show me PowerPad, the game selection.
So this is, see where it's, the yellow is a folder. So these are non-translated games. But there was 9 Family Trainer games that came out in Japan that use the PowerPad. Most of the games in these lists, if there's Japanese games, they are translated, which is really handy. There's a ton of translated Japanese games that I have access to, which fucking changes everything for me. Because there's so many RPGs that never came out here. There's so many adventure games that never came out here, and they're all in glorious, easy to read English.
Show me the Rob. So 3 games. Okay. Or
Well,
2
this
games.
is a homebrew game, yeah. The Squish Every,
Yeah,
whatever. Squish
Gyromite,
Everyone.
Stack Up,
Yeah, Gyromite and Stack Up are the only two. Gyromite, pretty easy to find the parts for. Stack Up, almost impossible. A full set of Stack Up parts is worth thousands of dollars today.
You know, the original 8-bit NES, Rob the Video Robot, was like such an integral part of the...
It was the Trojan horse of the experience.
So it makes me wonder, I bet you don't wonder, but it's like the success of that system, how much of that is just Nintendo was smart enough and lucky enough to hire Shigeru Miyamoto at a young age, as opposed to Nintendo actually had like really compelling hardware that was better than their competitors?
I'll go to this camera for this. The Rob the Robot was a thing that like it marketed really, really well. Like people saw it on the commercials and saw it in print and they were like, wow, that's really cool. What happened was every kid that took that thing out on Christmas morning, loaded it up, played with it, they did it one time.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, everybody did that.
Yeah.
Everyone played Gyromite exactly one time with that thing. And then they were like, oh, wait, I can play this game with my foot and my hands? Cool, I'm done. But it didn't matter because Rob the Robot was literally the Trojan horse that got that thing into homes because the way it looked like it worked was amazing. You got to remember the crash. So video games were basically POGs at the time, the time of the crash, so 83, 84. Nintendo very famously went to Atari and said, hey, Atari, you're still in the business. Like, we have this Famicom. Do you want to distribute this in America for us? And they're like, no, we have this piece of shit called the Atari 7800 that we want to sell. So, and we're not going to release that until like 1987. So we're good. And Nintendo's like, well, I guess we'll do this on our own. And then they revitalized the entire video game industry.
Yeah.
There's 3 main components about why it was successful. Number 1, Rob the Robot in terms of marketing. Number 2, it was not a video game system. It was an entertainment system. And then number 3, which was a long-term detriment to the system, but it worked, was the way you loaded games. Everybody thought of a video game console as what we have here, the top loader, where you put the cartridge in at the, this way. You put it in the top, right? That was the Atari. That was everything. Thank you. That was all that shit. And this way, from engineering, is the way. But they did that front-loading thing that to make it on purpose look more like either a VCR or a computer device. And that also worked, but it literally didn't work in terms of you use your NES for more than 6 months.
You just had to blow in it if it didn't.
Yeah, and no issues with that. It fixed it. Yeah, blow into a T-shirt because that makes sense. All that shit. Spray it down with Windex.
Did you ever use a cotton swab and alcohol?
Well, that is the way. That's the way. That's the way. Yeah. Electrical engineers will tell you, like, no, that's what does work, and you should do that. But Windex doesn't work. Brasso will destroy your fucking cartridges. Obviously, they say blowing in your cartridges over time destroys them. For me, it's a nervous tick. I can't help but blow into cartridges because that's how I was raised, and I personally haven't ever experienced any long-term bad effects from it. And
an entire generation of Americans like growing up.
You're not going to undo that.
Experimenting with
the one that always worked for me was I would put an NES game in and then slide another NES game on top of that NES game to like keep it like locked down.
I was familiar with that.
That one worked pretty well. So back to the action here, and there we are once again. So this is really handy shit. Like if you want to play the top 10 auto-scrolling shmups, for example, somebody made that list. And there's different lists from like different places. So like here's the top 100 list from GameFAQs.com as of I think it's 2017. Retro Sanctuary is another website.
Wait, show me the GameFAQs list. I want to see what
their number one is.
Yeah,
Mario Brothers 3 is number 1.
Okay,
Zelda's 2.
Yeah, this is fine.
My number 2 was not Zelda. I would put Bucky O'Hare right there.
I'm
fine with Mario 3 being number 1. I agree with that. I would put Bucky O'Hare there. Number 3, I would probably put Ninja Gaiden 2. Number 4, I would put Mega Man 2, but that's there on 5.
Yeah.
Then Punch-Out! Punch-Out's in my top 20. I don't know if it's in my top 10. Anyway.
From this list, I bumped Metroid up a few spots.
You would?
I would, yeah. From 8, it'd be in the top 5 for me, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
And that's a good job. Tecmo Super Bowl. It's like
people love their Tecmo Bowl, man.
Yeah.
That's
what is that? Oh, do you see Zelda 2 is up there? Don't you hate that game? 13.
Yeah, it's a bad game.
Yeah, why is that there? Right. That's the
take it up with the fine people at GameFAQs.com.
Yeah.
So this one I was playing the other day that I thought was really cool. This one, games that push the hardware. So a lot of these games you'll have never even heard of.
Yeah.
And for as into this shit as I am, there's so many that I didn't. This game, Moon Crystal, fucking mind blowing. Couldn't believe that this was an NES game in terms of like how good it was. And this is translated, as you can tell there by the English. Okay. Skip all this stuff here. The animation on this guy, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking ridiculously good.
Wow.
Yes. Amazing. I had never even heard of this game.
Wow.
My friend Graham, who is insanely knowledgeable about Famicom and like 8-bit stuff in general, but mainly like Famicom, Nintendo, all that stuff. He had played this game before, and I guess it was also on different microcomuters at the time, but the NES or the Famicom version that we're playing had the best because of the smooth scrolling that the Famicom brought to the table. The other versions did have this really good animation, but yeah, this is just a really good, like really well designed action platformer, but really the star of the show there is this animation. So we'll move on. I've got so much more to show. Again, using that wonderful feature.
Yeah, good job with that one.
Yeah, it was really good. So I love this fucking game. It's called Summer Carnival 92 Rekka. It was officially released finally by Nintendo on the 3DS eShop. But this is a legendary shmup. It's more commonly known as just Rekka. So that company, Nagsat Soft, they're famous for making shmups for TurboGrafx, NES, all that stuff. You got 3 modes of play here: score, attack, time attack, normal. The carnival thing, so Summer Carnival was a event that was like a thing that happened in Japan where people would make games just for that event, and then you would go and try to get the highest score in, I think it was like a week-long thing. And it was like a live event, kind of like the Nintendo World Championships. But there were games that were made exclusive to that, and this is one of those. So this was lost to time for a really long time, but it is a insanely good shooter with really cool effects, and it's so fast. And the amount of sprites that are on the screen right now, like there isn't another NES game that could do this.
Yeah.
So there's literally like Genesis levels of sprites, and what's not happening, you really have to squint to tell, but very, very little flicker, and that's kind of like what the NES is infamous for. It was like,
oh yeah, the flicker.
The flicker thing that actually was like a feature. It was to be able to like have more sprites on screen. That was like the workaround. There's a little bit of slowdown, but in a game like this, you want the slowdown. It's tough to talk and play at the same time because this game's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
But if I can get to the second level, the background is so trippy. Like it's just this constantly moving thing. We'll see if I can do it. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have to tap. I can just hold it down. Oh, 1 up, I need that. Oh god, I lost my big gun. Okay, here's the boss. Little quickie. Let's get him. Come on.
Oh, good job, Brian. Oh.
Well.
Oh.
You see what happens is when you compliment me, I immediately fail.
I will never compliment you again.
Thank you. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, Rekka's really, really cool. I actually, a friend of the show, Quan, for a birthday present, he made me a Rekka cartridge that I still have. It has like a nice, legit label and all that stuff. But that was a long time ago, before the Everdrive days. All right, let's go back to that list of games that push the hardware because it's neat. And of course, Mario 3 is on there. There is it Cosmic Epsilon? Crisis Force. Both of these games used a thing that didn't come out here, but was available on the Master System. And it was like a stereoscopic 3D system. They used like the flicker flash thing. They had that for Nintendo in Japan. Really wish they would have done that here because it's cool as fuck. This is like a mecha game. So watch the scrolling on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Mode 7 graphics.
Yeah, except for it's not. This is an NES. And so if you push the select button, it's going to get real weird. That is if you don't have the thing, it just looks really blurry, which we don't. But that's like full stereoscopic 3D. So I push select, and so now it's back to normal. But the smoothness of that scrolling down there, Jiminy Christmas. Like, again, this is a stock NES. So it's amazing to me, the kind of juice that developers could get out of this thing. Really, really, really fucking cool. Okay. There's one more game that you and I are going to play. And I've got to pause the recording to do it. So I'm going to go back to the menu. And bear with us, folks. I'm going to go here, and I'll be right back with a very special thing. He has no idea what's coming.
No idea.
And this is going to be great. So
all right.
Stand by. All right. And we are back. I've got the necessary hardware here to send us home on this final playthrough here using this wonderful Everdrive. So I'm going to go to the menu. And we're going to be right there. So this game is a homebrew game that was developed a few years ago. You may have actually seen stuff about it. I'm not sure. I've never gotten to play it the way that it's intended to. So let's do it's aftermarket, US, and go into the R's.
Is this an original Zapper?
Yeah, the gray one.
Wow.
Yeah, they made it orange. The Zapper in Japan looks like just a real Colt 45. It's fucking awesome. It's black and brown.
They're not as worried about gun crime out there.
Well, because, you don't have guns. So, oh, I skipped it. Alrighty.
It's weird seeing the stuff I haven't seen in this case 35 years probably.
Yeah, I don't go without zappers. That's just not how I do it.
Going to get gas.
Yeah.
Gotta have my zapper.
Gotta have a zapper.
Conceal permit.
So we are going to play Russian roulette.
Oh my! What?
Yes.
What? Bury the lead. My God.
That was on purpose, friend. That's for theater. It's for theater. Okay, here we go. So I did 2 players. Oh God.
This is.
Oh God! If you can see down there at the bottom of you, fuck. Oh. All right, your turn, friend.
1 out of 6.
Yeah, for it. Go
This,
for it.
this is a licensed or unlicensed?
This is very unlicensed. It came out in 2016. Do it. Oh no! Talk about unlucky. Oh dear God! All right, resurrection. There we go. Let's do this. Let's do this again.
Oh, no, get out again.
Oh, again. I don't know what. Oh, what's B? Let's find out what B is. Oh, we're doing A. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Who goes first?
Nobody.
Oh, that's me. I'm the guy on the right. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh.
They're made to look like the 2 dudes from.
They sure are.
Yeah.
They sure are. Here we go.
Is it Apocalypse Now?
Here we go. Go.
We'll do this.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Woo! I'm alive! You survived. Round 2, friend. Here we go. Okay. Oh, like it's anyone's. Oh, another spin. And that's me. That's me. That's me. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Oh my God, the stakes. The fucking stakes on this. Here we go. Here we go. Do it. Do it. Yes! I escaped death.
I've died twice over.
You have. Okay, let's see. I want to find out what this B is. No! Start. Down to B. Tell me. What are you? Okay.
Oh, 50,
shit! Oh, okay.
Oh, then I have to go
Yeah,
first.
of course you have to go first.
50-50.
Of course you do. You'll survive.
And we'll do the back of the head.
Oh, shit.
And now it's your turn to
All right,
die.
Here we go. Maybe. We'll see. Yes! Yes! Friend?
I can't die 3 times in one game. What,
You might.
what are the odds?
You just might.
What are the odds of that?
You just might. Here we go.
God.
Oh, that was glorious.
Oh, what great fun.
Yeah.
What great
don't,
fun.
Don't try that at home. Do not try that at home.
Yeah.
Unless you've got this zapper, then try it at home all day long. So yeah, that's...
I'm going to show that game to my son.
Well, if it's on YouTube, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if... we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
I think maybe holding the gun to our heads to actually simulate the...
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
Why would... But we had to do that.
I mean,
we had to do it.
How do you not do that?
How do you not do it? So
Let's play Russian roulette.
this is the Everdrive N8 Pro by Krix. You can get yours from Krix.com. It takes a little longer because it does legitimately ship from the Ukraine. But there are other vendors in America that sell this. This is just a free plug. This is just free shilling because I love this thing so much. It makes playing retro games really, really fun. And more important than that, it made me a lot of money because I was able to sell multiple collections and be just fine because I have this guy to play whatever the fuck I want, how I want, when I want. So that is the Everdrive difference.
Good build quality, too.
It really is.
It should be said.
It really, really is. So, yeah, that's that.
I had a good time.
Even though you died three times in a row.
Times,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm so happy that this worked because this was my big surprise was you and I playing Russian roulette here.
Oh, I hope you got the payoff you were looking for.
I did. Yeah. Me surviving. So anyway, friends, like and subscribe, leave comments, check us out on Spotify if that's your deal. 5-star review us, all the good things. Friend, let's do. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm going to get shot again.
Yeah.